No, today's I'm asking.
No, today's okay. Already same thing I repeated. I'm
Okay.
repeating today.
Yeah, last week.
Last
I
week.
watched it.
Last week video, I already given that.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
So it's there already. Everything I'm uploading to the YouTube channel. So just utilize that and practice more. Go to the I told you already in our blog also you have a lot of bugs. So go and file the bugs. UI bugs are there. Not functional, but UI bugs are functional also there. Wantedly I kept them. So more alignment issues I created. So you can file the bugs, all this, find out them, and consistency is missing. So many places you create all these bugs. So I want your observations more on these areas, how to file the bugs, which one you should be able to take a decision. First, okay, whether it is a bug or not, you should not get a doubt. If you are getting a doubt, what you need to do, you report it. Then ask, I'm not sure what is the expectation. So this is what my observation. Can you please guide me? What is the expectation here? If you are not sure, if there is no requirement for that, but still it should not work as per expectation. It is not working. You're feeling that it's a bug. And you can tell that. Okay. So that's what you have to be very careful on the bug raising. So if you're not clear and all those things. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic.
Sir, one doubt, sir. Backside one columns are there, no, sir. It is only on our project creation, only 3 columns showing. Backlog.
Here, this is the one Kanban board. You're talking in the Kanban board?
Yes.
So I created this last class. I explained how to create this different things. So you can create the columns here. Okay, you can add the columns here. You can create how you want based on your company standards. What are the columns you need? You can create them. There is an option. So Kanban board settings will be there. You go and settings, you can change it. You can change, create option will be here. Board settings. So here you can create the columns also. Columns. Can you see here?
Yeah.
These are the columns. You can create whatever the columns you want. So whatever you want, card colors, card layout. If you want to give card colors, you can give card colors. So issue types. So these are things I want to give. Otherwise, priorities. So these are the priorities here. If you want, you can give assignees, to whom it assigned, queries. Any queries are there. That if none of them issue types, if you select and go back and you can see the board. How you want working days. Also, you can see working days. So Monday to Friday. So non-working days, it won't show. Issue detailed view. So general fields, date fields, people, reporter and assignee only. Generally, reporter and assignee only will be there. Links. So these are the different, if you want to change. Back to dashboard. Any questions before going to the new topic? So till now, what we have completed? Verification, validation.
Sprint activities.
Sprint activities, all the SD Agile process we have completed. Agile process.
Test levels.
And then we have test levels we have completed. Testing process we have completed. And software development lifecycle process we have completed.
STLC.
Software testing life cycle.
STLC is nothing but a testing process.
Okay.
So that's a testing process. And so these are all things we have completed. And Jira. So Jira, how Kanban board will be there and how you need to move the card, your task. So from different statuses, I have shown you how to create a defect. I have shown you in the defect template, what are all the fields are there. These are the things you have to take care. So what are all the fields will be there in the defect template? Project, issue type, status. So
Summary.
status you have to see, these are the statuses. Okay. And then summary, components, description. This is the crucial. Description is the one where you will add all the detailed steps. First, you describe the issue. So whatever you write summary, maybe one liner you will write, right? But in the description, you write a detailed summary of the issue. Then steps to reproducible heading you have to keep. Then write one by one step from browser opening to till issue you have seen. Each step by step you have to write. Then what is the actual result? And write the actual result. Actual result means application behavior. Then any screenshot is there. If you want, you can add a screenshot there itself. Then you have a expected result, what you are expecting. If you know exactly, you have a requirement, clear requirement you have, you can do that. So that expected result also you have to write. And then screenshots you attach, labels you select, you ask labels, your manager will give what labels you need to go. Some nowadays people are doing here, the functional or module name or so, what kind of, first you are mentioning here and then you're writing a summary. Okay. So please, work on that. So all these fields you need to remember. So if you do multiple times, you can remember priority and even sprint name also will be there. Here you can add the fields. So add this, all these fields you remember, epic link, story points also will be there. Once you report the defect, that will be there. So you can see this is the defect we reported. Here you can find label C, epic link, priority, and you can add a story points also. You can configure, add more fields. So you can add original estimate, time tracking, fixing versions. You can add. See, this is the one. Original estimate, how many days, time tracking, fixed version. If you want to add more, so you can add more. So created, updated. If you want to add more, I want story points. So that I think we have a problem with the free version. Free version, they are not going to give all the things. See, story points. You can add story points also. So you cannot see this field in the issue view as the context is not applied to this project because it's a different. Basically, paid people can get this, right? So that's what the things, whatever available, it is showing here, and you can add that. Okay, story points estimation. So it is not allowing because basically. That is not allowed for that. Okay, anyhow, fine, that is fine. But so real case, you will get that. So that's how you need to remember the fields also. What fields are there? Okay, so let's practice this more. And so let's go to the next topic, test plan. I want to explain test plan today, and then we'll move on to go to our manual testing. So if you go down, there is a test plan is there. So what is a test plan? So why do you need a test plan? So what is the purpose of test plan? What are the content in the test plan will be there? So all these points, let's go and discuss one by one. So test plan is a document which describes scope, approach, and major testing effort. So test plan is a document, so which is having scope, objectives, and approach, how you need to test it, and what methodologies you will use, what testing techniques you will use. Methodologies are different, techniques are different. Methodologies is nothing but a SDLC process. You are using agile methodology. That's a methodology means waterfall methodology, V methodology. So these are the different SDLC processes, SDLC models. That's a methodologies. Testing techniques is different. Black box testing, white box testing, gray box testing. These are the techniques. Testing types, different testing types. What are all you will perform? Component testing, integration testing, system testing, end-to-end testing, acceptance testing. So, and again, functional testing. These are all called functional testing types. Then you are performing the non-functional testing also. They will ask you performance testing. So what are all things you are performing that, so the approach you will include. And effort means, so what are all things you, when to start it, when to end the testing, the schedules will be there in this effort. So why do you need a test plan? A test plan will give you a brief idea about a lot of people can understand this test plan belongs to which project and who are the people involved in this project and what you need to focus, what is in the scope, what is not in the scope. Okay, so what is in the scope, what is not in the scope. So that also you have to see that. That also you can get here. Okay, that also you will get in the test plan document. And also it will give you a brief idea about when to start the testing, how to do the testing, what to do in the testing. That means what data you are giving, what data you will get output. So this entire, the activities the tester has to do, high level it will be given to you. So for what project this test plan, that will be detailedly explained by this test plan document. So on the test plan document has a lot of content, and also first one is test plan ID, scope. Scope means what features to be tested, what features not to be tested. What is in the scope? That scope will be explained here. So, and also approach. Approach means a methodology. Which type of methodology you are using? Agile process, waterfall methodology. Then testing techniques. You are using a black box testing techniques, white box testing techniques. So that means black box means manual functional testing. Manual testing or functional testing, we call that. White box testing is nothing but you're adding automation testing. So in the functional testing, there is a manual testing and automation testing. So that again, automation also you are performing for the same features or not, that will be also mentioned in the test plan document. Basically, if it is there in the test plan document, you have to perform that. So that's why you have to read the test plan document also once before performing the testing. And so another thing is, who are all the resources? So who is your QA hierarchy, QA director, manager, and the test lead, QA manager, test lead, senior test engineers, junior testers, how many are there? So many resources required, and if they required any training, they will provide the training also. If the people require any training, they will identify in advance. Some new thing is coming in the project. You don't know that. Then they will, in advance, they will plan it. That will be included in the test plan document. And then you have a schedules, very important component in the test plan document. So when to start the testing, when to end the testing. Tentative deadlines will be clearly mentioned. So within that time period, you have to finish your testing. That's another very important concept. And another thing is, risks. What are the risks are there in the project? Then if the risk comes, how you can cope up with that? What is the mitigation plan for that? Suppose you're testing, suddenly environment went down. Then that you're losing that time, right? Then how you can cope up with that? That's one risk. So this expected, you have to guess. Risk is nothing but an unexpected event. If that occurs, what is your mitigation plans? Mitigation means how you can reduce that risk. What is the alternative plan? Mitigation and contingency. So risk, mitigation, and contingency plans. What are all those for you? That also mentioned in the, if any risks are there in the project, they will mention. That's the first risk. Application went down and you are not able to complete, you are not able to do testing properly. And another risk, the resource not attended, the tester not attended to the office due to some health issues or whatever it is. Then who will be the replacement for them? The shadow resource should be there. Shadow resource means the manager will include another person. So the manager will include another person, also participating in all the meetings and discussing with the features. He is also having an idea that he will take care of that. So that is a very important here, as preparing a shadow resource. And so if you prepare a shadow resource, what will happen? One person is not attending, other person will take care. That's a contingency plans. And another thing, the resource decided to leave the company. Maybe he got a good opportunity and he is resigning. Then immediately, so the project manager will know. So come to know this, right? This kind of information. He has to immediately recruit a new person. He means he will inform HR team and they will recruit and onboarding him and giving AKD sessions. All this they have to take care here. And also test cases, writing the test cases also. So you should mention what kind of test cases you are going to automate. And that is another important thing. And then functional test cases, non-functional test cases, automation testing, all this detailedly will mention. Then defect. So defects. So you will mention defects. So defects you will, so what kind of defects are there? So suppose if there are showstopper bugs, that means blocker bugs, right? it is blocking your testing activity. And if that is there, you should not release critical bugs, major bugs. Minor bugs are there, you can release. Even the functional bug that is not harming, so it is not used by many people. Very rarely it is used, that feature. That time also they can release the code to the production. And we covered all training required, schedules, risk and contingency, resource and roles and responsibilities. For each testing, when you can start, what is the start criteria and stop criteria? Start criteria means, so what is the favorable condition to start your testing? And stop criteria means, so when you will start that, when you will stop that. So when you can stop any testing, all the test cases are executed once. Okay, at least one round of testing must be done. Then all the bugs are fixed. Our release date has come closer. So your testing time is completed. All these cases, you will stop the testing, right? So these are the cases when you will stop the testing. So all the test cases are tested, all the bugs are fixed and retested, and testing time deadline reaches, and these are the cases you will stop the testing. And so testing approach, I told you, testing approach is a strategy. A strategy means I told you, okay, which methodology, which testing technique, what types of testings you need to perform, that is. So overview of the application, you will give, so what is this application? So which application you are testing, you should know that application details. Scope, what to be tested, what not to be tested. What features you are going to test, what features you are not going to test. Reference documents, what are the reference documents? Nowadays, Agile process comes, all the Jira stories, the story points, right? So the story points is the reference. Jira story points is the reference. You have to give reference documents if they ask you. Before there was a functional requirement document, use case document. Now you have a user story. In the user story, everything you will get it, all the requirements. So let me show you one of the requirement document. So we have document. We have one requirement document here. For sample, I have provided. Here is the one. This is the one, not this one. Yeah, here it is. Sample requirement document. Before they used to give like this. So you can see the sample requirement document. If you go here, see use case model and login user. This is the use case model requirements. They're describing like this. So what is the use case name? What is the summary and basic flow? You have to cover all these basic flows and alternative flows. That means negative cases. So mandatory positive flow and negative flow also. See step 4 here, a positive flow, and here negative flow. So this is also negative flow. So then what is the output if you give a negative scenarios? So if username is invalid, what will happen? If the password is invalid, what is the message you are expecting? So these are all when user enters another password and the use case continues with the step 4 using original username and a new password. So these are all the steps you have to read. These are the requirements. You will get a plain English statements. You have to read and understand. That's it. Other than that, nothing. So the English understanding is important. So what is this? User enters his username and password. The system verifies the username and password against all registered users. The system start login session and displays a welcome message. So you have to write each step by step the requirement. So this is the requirement number. So you can say login user requirement 1, login user requirement 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything you have to cover. In the 4, you have a positive test case and negative test case also. You have to write a negative test case also in the requirement 4. Same way you have, see here, how many requirements for register user. Same, you do that also. This is a mandatory field mark. Star is there. It's a mandatory field. That means you have to input the data mandatorily. You cannot skip that. That's the mandatory fields. Mark is there or not. Also you have to check. So where you will get this all in the Jira. So you have in this story, if you go to story, the story they will mention with the screens. All these requirements they'll create. Let me create one user story. So I'm creating a user story, even though it is not registered user. Right. I select the issue type as a story. So I can go and copy this, everything. So this entire thing will be dumped here in the registration. And that's it. They will give like this. And you go and read the step by step here. So this is the how you can create the product owner will create the user stories with the details, business rules. See, business rules also they are giving. So what rules you need to implement? Mandatory, they have to implement all this. You have to check this. So access levels 0, less than or equal to 1, less than or equal to 2 is there or not. You're able to select these options or not. So see, register users location is the solar based energy location. Nearest is the zip code. So this location should be whatever the zip code you are giving. So you need to understand the requirements, very important here. See, alternative flows. If the username duplicates an existing username, should system display a message? And if the user doesn't enter a required field, a message should be displayed. So this is all the points very clearly they are giving. Okay, so that you have to follow. These requirements you have to follow and create the test cases. So you'll create the test cases. See, that has come in the backlog. When you create it, that same product owner will do that. It will come and sit on the product backlog. So that is this reference documents and clients. So that's the test plan means, and you can so simply give. So why do you need a test plan? So a test plan will give you so overall idea for the people, which project you are testing and who are involved and what is the scope and so what to test and how to test, when to test, everything will be available in the test plan. See, you can understand. So why the test plan, the completed document will help people outside the testing group also, and they will understand why and how of the product validated. How you are testing, that will be explained clearly here. How and why you are validating your project features, that will be mentioned in the test plan document. So that's the main criteria. And there is a few points I want to give: test policy and test strategy. A test policy is nothing but rules for testing. Rules means you have to review the document, your test case document. Mandatorily, after completing the test case design, reviews must be done. So test strategy, overall high level approach. So basically a standard template will be there for entire company. So everybody has to follow that test strategy. Everybody has to follow that test strategy. Okay, that's important. And so like, system testing is carried by independent testing team, and they will report to particular manager and working on the assigned tasks. That's a standard process in any company. So this is the test plan means. What is mean by test plan and test strategy difference? A test plan is, so you give the definition. It's a document which describes the scope, objectives, approach, and emphasizing a software testing effort. Test strategy is a set of guidelines that explains test design, determines how testing needs to be done. And components of test plan is test plan ID and features to be tested, features not to be tested, testing techniques, testing tasks, features pass or fail criteria, test deliverables, responsibilities, roles and responsibilities, schedules, risk contingency mitigation plans. So all these are components of your test plan document. So that means your test plan document inside all these fields will be there. Then components of test strategy is objectives, scope, documentation formats, test process, team reporting structure, client communication strategy. So these things will be there in the test strategy. So test plan is carried out by QA manager or test manager and lead. So that describes how to test, when to test, who will test, and what to test. And test strategy is carried out by project manager. It says what type of technique to follow and which module to test. So test plan narrates about the particular project related specifications, how to test. Test strategy narrates about the general approaches for the entire project, entire company, not for project. Test plan is a specific project. So every project has one test plan, but test strategy is for entire company, above QA process. Test plan can change from project to project. Test strategy cannot be changed. It's a fixed templates. So that's the test strategy. A test plan is so possible issues and dependencies in order to identify the risks will be mentioned in the test plan document. And test strategy is a long-term plan of action. So it's for entire company. All the teams will follow that strategy format. Test plan exists individual projects, and sometimes test strategy is often found in the section of test plan also. You can find test strategy points in the test plan also sometimes. It's a project level test plan, and test strategy is the organization level. It can be used for multiple projects. So that is the test plan and test strategy differences. Okay, so please go through this. This is the common interview question also. You should be able to freely explain. So what are all the components, at least without murmuring, without stopping in between. If you are able to explain, that's good enough in the interview. So even if you stuck somewhere, don't wait there. So jump on to other point. So right, you should not lock there. If you lock, they will identify that, okay, this guy doesn't have idea. So that you don't give that much impression for them. So you stuck there, leave that point, move on to the next point. Okay, so that's how you need to proceed. So that's where you should not stuck there and stopping itself. Okay, you forget one point and you're stopping there itself. So don't do that. Move on. So that will give you confidence to you also. So any questions before jumping on the testing techniques? We have another 8 minutes. Let's go and finish this. Testing techniques is another crucial topic. What are the different testing techniques? And next week we are completely starting the test case design. That's the main powerful topic. Test case design only you have to focus, and you write more test cases and take one scenario and write the test cases. Practice, more practice is there and you will get a confident. So people will struggle in test case design only. Most of the people, 99.99% people struggle how to write the test cases. So I will add more test cases to our blog. You can see them how writing, and we have also already one test case document already shared to many of the people. You already know, and walk through that one by one, and we'll execute them. First we'll discuss, then we'll execute them one by one. Okay. Okay. So let's move on to the testing techniques. Where you will use these testing techniques? While designing the test cases, you will apply these techniques to generate the more number of test cases. That's our testing techniques purpose. So we have two types of testing techniques. One is static testing technique, a dynamic testing technique. Static testing technique is nothing but it's a verification process. Like you know, right? Walkthroughs, inspections, and reviews. These three are the verification processes. So you will review, definitely will review, right, your test case document. Reviews, many levels people will do. Requirements also will be reviewed. Project plan, test plan also will be reviewed. You are doing a test case design. Test cases will be reviewed. So that means a static testing technique also you are applying. And you will walk through the walkthrough means you will walk through the particular person and get some information. That's a walkthrough. Requirements walkthrough, code walkthrough, all these are examples for code walkthrough. Inspections, basically all the team members will participate in the meeting, and somebody will read, somebody will conduct the meeting, and so somebody will take the notes and just to find what is missing in the documents, not to fix in that. The owner will go and fix that issues. Whatever is there, issues in the document, he will fix it. So you have to send a mail with the minutes of meeting points, what are all discussed. So what are the action points? The action points will be distributed to all the members who are attendees, who is missing, and they will mention attendees. So all the attendees names will be there in the meeting, in the mail, and points. What are the points? Action items. So action item is on whom. So they will mention very clearly the person name also. So make sure you read those mails, and very important that. Okay, that's a static testing technique. So in the dynamic testing technique, we have a black box testing, white box testing, gray box testing. So black box testing again categorized into 5 types: equivalence class partitioning, boundary value analysis, decision table testing, state transition testing, error guessing. So, and white box testing, you have branch testing, statement coverage, decision coverage, branch path testing. These are the white box testing techniques. So gray box testing, combination of black box and white box, the gray box. But which one you will use for a test case design? You will use this. All these techniques you will use while designing the functional test cases. Okay. So what is mean by static testing technique? So a software is tested, that means examined manually with a set of tools, but not executed. So not executed means just looking at the documents. That's a review, right? That's what is this definition is fulfilling or not. Software products are examined manually, but not executed. Without executing, if you perform the testing, that is called static testing technique or verification process. So examples for static testing techniques are reviews, inspections, and walkthrough. These are the 3 techniques you will use to do a static testing process. And dynamic testing process is the software is executed using a set of input data, and you will see the output to examine what is the expectation, what is the application behavior. Both you will compare. That is the dynamic testing technique. You are giving input. So what is the output you are getting? You will compare for the input, this is the right output or not. That output and customer expectation output, both are same or not, you will compare. So that is called dynamic testing techniques. So we have a black box testing. What is mean by black box? Black box testing is nothing but a functional testing or manual testing. So mainly focuses on external behavior of the application, not based on any knowledge on internal design or code. You won't bother about what is there internally code. You will bother about on the UI. So what is in the UI, how it looks. This is the one. You will bother about this one only. So this UI you will bother about that. You don't need to worry about the what code they have written. That is the black box testing. What is black box testing? Mainly you will focus on the external behavior of the application. UI, how it is navigating to different pages, how it is working in the UI. And you don't need to bother about the code. That's the black box testing technique. So these test cases are performed based on the requirements and functionality. On what basis you will perform this black box testing? Based on the requirements. These are the requirements, right? So we have seen just now all these requirements. So these requirements based only you will perform the black box testing. So that's the black box testing. So these are all examples I'm giving. That's okay. Advantage of black box testing is tester can be a non-technical. Anybody can learn. Everybody has a testing skills. I don't know, you in your every day to day life, every action you're performing a testing only. Right? So in your house, you take your switch on, like a gas or washing machine or mobile phone. Here daily you're using. So you're switching on, or switching on, restart, all are working on it. You'll check in the mobile, right? Batteries, you're plugging in the battery. Is it charging or not? That's also testing. So day-to-day life, everything you are doing a testing only. So that's why a testing can be done any person. Don't think I don't know testing. You are performing testing daily and every second what you are doing. And even see your kids are doing wrong. You will tell, okay, no, you should not do like that. You should do this. This is the way. You will tell the rules, right? That's what you are going to do here also in the application testing. So that the rules customer is giving, those are the requirements. These are the rules. You follow whether your application is implemented following these rules or not, you need to check. That is the what you are going to do. Okay. So this is what a black box testing means. And basically we'll verify the contradictions in actual application and the specifications. In the specifications, what is there and application behavior is what. Both you will compare. That contradictions you will verify and you will report the defects. Test cases can be designed as soon as the functional specifications are completed. Once you have the requirements, immediately you need to start the test case design. This is the first and foremost responsibility of a manual tester. Remember, this is the core responsibility, first and primary responsibility of a tester. Wherever you go, first you will prepare the test cases. Mandatory. That's why I'm telling in advance, practice now itself more number of test cases you write and think of that. Then you will get a better idea wherever you go. So disadvantage of black box testing is the test input needs to be taken from large sample space. Test data preparation, that's a challenging, very, very challenging task, test data preparation. Suppose you want to test a mobile numbers, different countries' mobile numbers. You have to gather all these different countries' mobile numbers or not. And also you want to test it with a zip code. Different zip codes you want to test. You have to gather different zip codes or not. That's a test data preparation, we call that. So in your testing, you have to give this test data. First, you have to prepare the test data, right? While test case design itself, you will prepare the test data. What data you need to provide. And so you will mention in the test data column. So it is difficult to identify all possible inputs in the limited testing time because you have a very shorter time frames, right? We have seen sprint means 15 days. That means 10 days only will get. In 10 days, you won't get much time. In that time period only, you have to cover all the possible cases. Some cases you might miss. So writing test case is slow and difficult task. I'm telling you today itself, we will also face some difficulty while writing the test cases. So everybody faces this, not only you. Okay, but more practice. You do more practice, you will get a confident. But you have to understand the system first. Okay, how user will use. Always you have to think in that perspective, how user will use this. If I use the different way, what will happen? So that you have to think in different perspective, different people perspective. So if that person uses, unknown person uses, how you will use the application. If known person comes and uses the application, how you will use. And half functionality knows, how you will use. All this people's perspective, you have to think and test while testing the application. And writing the test case also, you have to think all these cases. So that's the difficult for writing the test cases. The slow process, basically. Chances of having unidentified paths during this testing. So functional testing, you might miss some cases. That's okay, fine. And test data commonly includes the following types. Valid test data. So it is necessary to verify whether the system functions are in compliance with the requirements. Then the system processes and stores the data as intended. That's called valid test data. Invalid test data means QA engineers should inspect whether the software correctly processes the invalid values and shows the relevant error messages and notifies the user that the data are improper. So you are, for example, you are giving an invalid username, password. So system should notify you, okay, you entered invalid username, password. So please enter valid username, password. That should notify you and system should throw that. If the system is not throwing, that's a bug. And this is the both valid and invalid test data you have to prepare, and boundary test data. So boundary conditions you have to check. Wrong data you have to give. Absent data you have to give. So these are all the test data types. Make sure you take care of that. Okay. So that we'll discuss equivalence class partitioning, boundary value analysis next week. Okay. This is the crucial. Any questions before stopping here?